What is Capel Dewi Hall and the Donald Dewi initiative here?
The hall is the place where people gather for social functions in this area. There's no other hall here. And Donald Dewi is a community regeneration project that has enabled us to fit. We've put in a kitchen and new toilets, and we more or less extended the floor area double what it was before. We've also put in insulation both in the roof. We put sheepswool insulation in, we put sound insulation because we've got a film club here which meets regularly, so people come in to watch films. We've also had Village SOS funding for the community shop Dewi, which is connected to the hall, and that's very much a social enterprise, so people come there to chat and have a cup of tea, but they also can buy their essential supplies. Very competitively priced, better priced than Tesco in many cases. And when we have events on, the shop is open, so people can go and, if there's a film night, they can go and have their ice creams, etc. from the shop. So they link together very well.
Defnyddio'r siop fan hyn yn Capel Dewi?
Wel, mi byw ar bwys, mae pepered y rheol yma, a mae'r wraig yn un o'r bobl sy'n barfodoli i weithio yma, sy'n ôl yma. So, dyn byw o drawr awl, so mae'n gyfleus iawn.
So, Andrew, why do you volunteer at the shop?
Well, we moved to the community a couple of years ago, and just as the shop was opening, it was an ideal chance to actually get to know people, to know the area a little bit, but just to introduce ourselves and try and recognise one or two faces. And it's been a great success from that point of view.
Brilliant. So, would you recommend volunteering?
Yes, certainly. I think it's a great way to meet people, to get part of the community, to find out the local gossip, what's happening each week, and just to say hello to people.
So, how do you manage stock here in the shop on a weekly basis?
We need to work. We're working on a just-in-time basis here. So, in other words, we don't have a huge storeroom full up with stuff. We just have small quantities on the shelves. So if you look on the shelves, you'll find that we've probably got no more than half a dozen of anything that we would sell here. And I make a weekly trip to Carmarthen, to various places that we've found we can buy small quantities but at very, very good prices, because it's such a cutthroat business in Carmarthen selling stuff that there's lots of shops eager to sell at the lowest possible price to get the custom. And they're very pleased when they see me coming in with my big shopping trolley. The shop was first set up. The idea was that, if you're a shop, you buy your goods from a wholesaler, and even maybe possibly have it delivered by bookers or something. And but we found that obviously we're not selling the quantity here, and so we were buying cases of 24 or 48 of product that was sort of likely to take a year before it was all sold, and 6 months down the line it would all go out of date, and we had a huge big problem there. So we very, very rarely use a wholesaler. We just watch where the bargains are. There's various websites you can go to. There's one called mysupermarket.com, and that tells you what the major supermarkets are selling their products for.
So, how easy was it to recruit volunteers for the shop?
Well, we had an open meeting initially to see what level of interest there was, and there were a certain number of people come forward. But as is often the case, you see the same faces as you do at every event. Anyway, we did gather that we had a few people with experience in retailing, and these volunteers have been absolutely key to it. And we've got as many as 20 volunteers that input into the shop in different ways, and some of those have really blossomed and been a great asset to us.
How many other projects in the pipeline to develop the shop?
Well, we have one project on the pipeline at the moment. We've been assessing the level of sales that we're getting, and based on that we sort of got certain overheads that we have to cope with regarding the shop, the rent and the energy, etc. And we're looking at putting solar PV panels on the roof of the shop because we think that would cover the energy costs for refrigeration and heating and lighting. So that's one thing that's in the pipeline at the moment.
What are the main learning curves that you've taken from the development of the shop?
Well, I'll just mention at the very beginning we had people on board who thought we'd have a big order of sort of alternative, brown rice and sort of alternative types of vegetarian food particularly, and we had a large order in with Mintons for this sort of product, and it sat on the shelf and never moved. And so there was a people who had a vision for this shop which wasn't really probably appropriate for Capel Dewi. So we did learn, and that cost us at the start, but then we're okay on that now.
So how do you market yourselves here in Capel Dewi?
Well, we've got signage and quite a distinct name, Shop Dewi, which you can see on the wall here. We've also got signs which we've placed strategically in the points coming into the village to let people know of our existence here, that we've got a community shop in Capel Dewi. So that's the one thing we have done, and we think that's quite important. We thought of maybe passing trade in the summer particularly, and maybe the odd white van driver who's got a bit peckish.
So from filming here in Capel Dewi, we've seen a great example of a social enterprise. We've seen how from just a village hall they've diversified and they now have a village shop. We can see that over the years they have developed the shop, they've organised their volunteers and stock in a way that has made the shop a success that it is today.